If you use frontier LLMs for cybersecurity, you've absolutely seen this moment. You're doing something completely legitimate, like hardening a box or triaging an incident or trying to understand malware. And the model flat out refuses. Not because you're trying to prompt inject or hack the model, because your defensive questions sound like an offensive one. We just had our paper accepted to the ICLR 2026 AI Wild workshop, and we put a name and numbers to this. It's called the Defensive Refusal Bias. And here's the core of the problem. In cybersecurity, attackers and defenders use the same vocabulary, the same verbs, the same nouns, the same artifacts. And this isn't just cybersecurity. This relates to other fields as well, where offense and defense look very similar. So if your safety tuning operates on semantic similarities on harmful content, you get this unintended outcome: safety-induced denial of service attack. And it actually makes it even harder for defenders versus the attackers. And here's a surprising twist from this paper. Explicit authority increases refusal by about 2.7 times. Today I want to do 4 things. I want to define the defensive refusal bias, explain the dataset that we used, and walk through the results that matter operationally, and end with design primitives that matter for vendors and teams building with agents. So in a nutshell, the defensive refusal bias is the tendency of safety-tuned LLMs to refuse legitimate defensive cybersecurity requests, especially when those requests sit near offensive content in the semantic space. Now, this isn't really about the model just being cautious. It's an alignment collective colliding with dual-use domains. The key point here is defenders can't avoid offensive adjacent language. If you're serious about security and defense, you have to discuss things like persistence, exploitation paths, payload behaviors, evasion, and C2 tradecraft. That's not misuse, that's analysis. That's required for a cybersecurity defender to do their job. So if you're going to be briefing your leadership about this, don't make this about refusals. Make it about operational reliability. A refusal isn't just a UX hiccup. In security operations, it means things like slower triage, worse incident response, and degraded defensive capability, precisely when speed and precision matter most. And it's asymmetric. Attackers have the privilege to route and align. I talked about this in my last video about attackers move second. Defenders, especially those in enterprise, don't have that privilege. So the security question becomes, are we unintentionally handicapping the defenders while the attacker gets to use unaligned tools? So let's talk about an example. We've all been there. It's 2 a.m., you're on call, and you got that page. Your EDR is exploding with maybe suspicious PowerShell, and you suspect persistence. So you're going to ask your LLM something like, help me interpret what this command is doing. What persistence techniques does this resemble? And what containment steps should I take? If the model refuses here, it's not just annoying, it's a reliability failure in the defensive stack. Now let's translate that to an autonomous defensive agent. The agent doesn't have the privilege of doing the human workaround. It doesn't have the option to smoothly rephrase something. And it can't plead its case. Not that that would help anyways. And it's not going to be able to intuit which word is triggering this content policy violation. So a refusal ends up being either a hard failure or degraded generic advice. And degraded advice during a live incident is how you lose time, miss pivots, and allow attackers to continue on their path. We studied 2,390 real prompts from the National Collegiate Cybersecurity Defense Competition, or NCCDC. This is a sanctioned environment. The blue team is comprised of students at universities all across the United States that are composed into teams based on where they go to school. The red team is professional cybersecurity experts that are posing as the red teamers trying to attack their systems. So these are not contrived benchmark prompts. This is realistic defensive work under time pressure. We evaluated multiple model classes that map to common enterprise needs: a safety-focused frontier model, a general frontier model, and an open source instructional model. And then we measured refusals, both hard refusals, soft refusals, and degraded assistance. The first result: defensive prompts containing security-sensitive language are refused 2.7 times more than their semantically equivalent neutral prompts. That's the signature of the bias. Result number 2. The refusal rates peaked exactly where you don't want them to happen: system hardening, malware analysis, vulnerability assessment, and incident response. In other words, the closer you get to real defense work, the more you get punished. And result number 3 is the authorization paradox. When prompts include language like blue team or NCCDC or this is a training exercise, refusals go up. So in aggregation, 21.8% with authorization signal versus 11.6% without. And the likely reason is simple. Models have been trained on a lot of jailbreaks lately. Like attempts where the attacker says things like, I am authorized, I'm a researcher, or this is for defense. So the model learned a shortcut. Authorizational language becomes a risk marker. And result number 4, this isn't just dumb keyword blocking. We find refusals are better predicted through semantic embeddings versus keyword features. So the real issue is learned harm-adjacent behavior that slices through legitimate defense work. So what do we do about this? I think the first thing is we have to stop treating safety like a one-dimensional scoreboard. We need paired metrics, like harmful compliance rates and false refusal rates in legitimate defensive contexts. Second, I think we need to make authorization real. We need to stop asking the model to explicitly allow authorization. That isn't reliable. Instead, we need to use enforcement mechanisms, role-based access control, tool-layered permission, auditable approvals, and scoped credentials. And 3, if you're building autonomous defense agents, you need refusal resilience. If the agent hits a refusal, it needs a policy, safe failback behavior, escalation paths, and an explicit task complete state. No more silent failures. And 4th, I think we need to start evaluating on real workflows. Listen, cybersecurity is super messy. Benchmarks that don't contain dual-use language will give you a false sense of security. The defensive refusal bias is simple. When defenders and attackers speak the same language, alignment that can't reason about intent becomes blunt. It blocks attackers, which is good, but it also blocks defenders, quietly, systematically, and worst of all, at the exact moment where it matters the most. My name is David Campbell, and be sure to tune in for more content on AI security and AI safety.